Hi, this is Tom Croft. This is a video of a recent commission of mine to paint the Duke of Cambridge in oils on canvas. So as you can see, I start by putting a wash over the entire canvas just to get rid of the white. This is called a ground, and it helps make judgments on darks and lights over the top of it. Gives you a sort of middle point to base your judgments on, so it's a little bit easier. And I really just start by drawing in the detail, trying to get the proportions right, trying to get the lightness at this point. I'm ultimately going to paint over all of this, but it's a guide. It's like this sort of infrastructure. So you can see the next stage is to add the skin tone over the whole of the face and ear and neck. Really, you should start with a kind of middle tone, again, to help with judging your darks and lights over the top of it. But I often go into detail. I get bogged down. It's my kind of challenge to fight my personality, which is to really want to tighten it up too quickly. And I think it's far easier to judge if you can just get a middle tone of skin over the top, and then you know how to add you can judge better how to add your darks and lights over the top of it. But you can see some of the colours I've mixed in there just to give a bit of form, a bit of modelling. So you can see I'm continuing on into the hat, into the peak of the hat. You'll also notice I'm just starting to put in some background tones, background light and dark, just in certain areas. And ideally what you want is to create points of interest, some sort of contrast in the colours. So you see where there's a highlight on the edge of the chin. I want a dark tone in the background to contrast that. It just makes it more interesting, I think. And I've continued on developing the hat now. You can see, block that in, and then I've started to really block in the whole of the background. And it's funny, the second you create an atmosphere, I've decided to go for kind of purplish greys in the background, but he now has to sit in that atmosphere. So all of the shadows on his skin, I've just gone in and sort of added little bits of little reflections of that purple so that he sits in the right atmosphere. You can see what else have I done at this point? I've started with just zooming in here to have a little look at the detail. So it's still fairly rough at this point. I'm not trying to, ultimately this commission isn't to create a sort of photorealistic painting. It's still got to look painterly. So that's probably as far as I'll go in terms of detail in the eye. A few flicks on the band of the hat there, you can see. And obviously creating the right sort of gradient of blue to make that peak of the hat turn into the light. So you can see where the dark hat meets the dark background. I've actually put a highlight on the edge of the hat so that you've got, again, that contrast and keeps it interesting all over the canvas. On I go, unrelentingly. Look at this. So I've started to work on the jacket, blocking in the folds of the shoulder. You can just see a little flick of that blue sash he wore around his front, just creeping over that left hand as we look at its shoulder. I've worked on the detailing in the collar. I've also put a highlight, which I will later remove, on the left hand side there. You can see where the hair meets the background. Again, this business of creating contrast in the background where the head meets the background. And I've got a little far there. That's completely unrealistic. It looks as though he's being sort of lit from behind, which I haven't then applied to the rest of the back and the collar and the hat. So I'll dull that down a bit later on. And for some reason, my camera's agreeing with me, nodding. It obviously likes that.